What are you, Chicago's own, Englewood's own film director, movie maker of 155 Filmworks. Thank you for joining me, Mark Harris.
Thank you. Yeah, I just a quick note. You all, since we're live, right? We recording this. Make sure you put this on here. You all have to stop calling me Chicago's filmmaker. I'm not a Chicago filmmaker anymore. I'm worldwide. I am known in Africa. I am known in Asia, Cuba. What's going on?
Internationally known. Welcome to the interview. Internationally known Mark Harris,
what's
film
going on
director, film creator, who happens to be a native of Chicago's South Side Englewood community, but he's internationally known. Welcome to this interview. How are you? I want to know how in the film industry, how are you doing first and foremost? Let's start there.
I'm doing great. Ramadan Mubarak, and I say Ramadan Kareem. Ramadan Kareem.
So you gonna keep getting me together on this interview? Assalamu alaikum. Is that okay?
Wa alaikum salam.
Is this the first day of Ramadan?
No, this is like day number, I think 11 or 12.
And you haven't broke fast yet?
No. Well, it's just when the sun goes down.
I appreciate you even more for joining me on this interview.
Oh man, thank you. You making the day go by faster.
So how are you doing first and foremost?
I'm great.
While we're in the middle of this, how has it phased you? Has it impacted you mentally, professionally?
Professionally, not mentally. Professionally.
Explain.
Okay, here's the thing. The thing is, because whenever we want to go into to making movies, right? So even if we wanted to make a movie, in terms of a bigger budget movie, and around, like for me, a big budget movie is between 200 250, because that gives you a bigger crew, right, and a bigger cast, and so in that term, it's like even if I wanted to do that around that budget, I'm not able to do it. So
why not?
Because the crew you have most crews don't want to work.
Okay.
The cast, you're not going to get cast, because at this particular time, if you want to use SAG actors, right, even if you want to use SAG actors are not going to work, because you can't. The SAG officers, they're not going to approve for actors to work during this time. They want to protect their clients, which I totally understand.
So what are you doing?
Writing, and just continue, continue to just do what we normally do, in terms of always, seeking out investors for when we do open up, we can just go on straight into production. I'm doing some writing. As a matter of fact, I'm rewriting a zombie movie.
I bet you are. Is it going to incorporate anything that's happening now?
Absolutely. And it's going to definitely incorporate what's happening now, and in terms of was this, like some people are saying, like, is this virus man-made? Is it something that's natural? So we definitely want to deal with whether it's something that's man-made, something that was put out intentionally, through either our government, through China. You just never know, but we're going to figure out. Or the whole story came up in terms of when it first was released, Black people were saying, oh, it's not going. It's skipping Black people, and I was like, no, there's no virus that's ever been made.
I want to do the emoji like this. I want to do the self emoji like, because I heard those conversations early on too.
Trust me, nobody's. If it's man-made, it's definitely not thinking and concerning Black people. We're going to do a virus, and we're going to just make sure it doesn't touch Black people. No, we do not.
I'm not trying to be political at all on this, but where do you think that came from?
I don't know.
Where do you think that came from? That it's not going to affect me, that it affects someone else, a different demographic. Where do you think that came from?
But then, if that's the case, then it has to be man-made, right? Yeah.
Just when people who run our free world was putting stuff out there. And I wonder where Black people, our people, got that idea. Oh, it's not going to affect me. I'm Black.
No.
So for those who don't know, what is the SAG? What does SAG stand for? Because you said the SAG office is not allowing actors who are a part of SAG, which is a union, but you'll explain more of what SAG is, and how are they not stopping, but putting a pause on the film industry.
Right. So what happens? The SAG is the Screen Actors Guild, and which is the actors is the union the actors belong to. And so what's happened is that they have to protect their clients, which is their clients, of course, are the actors. And so what happened is that when all this COVID is going on, you can't make a movie because you have to have your project has to be a SAG project in order for SAG actors to work on a project. And in order for it to become a SAG project, the SAG office has to approve your project to be SAG. And so that's the only way SAG actors can work on a SAG project. And so in this day and time, they're not, which I totally understand. They're not going to approve their actors to work, when it could put their lives in danger.
How are you pivoting?
In terms of
the film industry, making money, your business, 15, 55 films.
Well, we always have, we always have to have, reserves. So the thing is that what has always or what's keeping me afloat is ownership, and that's why I stress ownership is very important. Ownership is, you're always going to have, some type of income coming in because, with these different films, there's always some type of income, that, they have to pay you.
So you're describing residuals. So you're saying it's best to always have ownership of your project in which you can have residuals.
Well, so in some instances, I don't get residuals from my project. Okay. So what happens is that when you license your project with me is that when I license my project, I license it for a fee, and those fees are paid over a length of time.
Okay.
So it could stem from a year, it can stem from 18 months, it could stem from 2 years or 3 years, depends on how much is being paid out, or it can be all up front. So it's not basically residuals, it's basically a license fee.
So that's why it makes sense for you to own your project, because they have to pay you for your project that you put out over a course of how long you arrange or make that arrangement for?
Yeah. Okay. Just to give you an example, right? I get the rights to Black Butterfly in 2 months. And so when I get the rights back to Black Coffee, I go and I license it again. And next year, so next year I get the rights back to Black Butterfly. And when I get the rights back to Black Butterfly, what I do is I just go license it again.
Basically, you sell the rights of the project for a certain amount of time. It's like you rent out your project to whoever invested in it, and then it makes money. You get the fee that you originally negotiated. And then once that deal is done, you go to the next company or person for them to license it, right? Right?
So you don't sell it, because I know you use the word sell. You license it out. So you can't sell your project, but I don't recommend selling it, but we just do a license deal.
Look at you, you're smart.
You got to be, you got to be coming from Englewood. We're survivors.
How long have you been in the film industry? For those who may not know, the internationally known film director, movie producer, Mark Harris.
Known in Africa.
I say internationally known, globally, worldwide.
So since 2006, 2000, as a matter of fact, 2004 is when.
Did you see? This is a complete different comparison, but I'm wondering, and you could answer it still. Did the crash affect you in any way in 2017, 2008? 2007, 2008, when the economy burst?
No, because I wasn't in 2007, 2008. I wasn't doing film full time.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't doing it full time. So, in terms of no, I would say no.
As you gear up for you to continue writing, as you say, you're writing, eventually, what do you believe the new normal will be if an event that we don't open up per our state governors in the next couple weeks or the next month? What should actors do? What will you do? Will you now have to do casting calls via Zoom?
Uber?
You're gonna Uber? No, you said you're gonna continue to write.
Yeah. So if we're talking about business, like the entertainment business, if it doesn't open up in another year or so,
or the end of the summer, or maybe the fall.
Yeah. So what I have to do is I have to I'm gonna do non-SAG films, meaning that
I was just about to ask. Okay, to explain that.
non-SAG films is that what you do is you do a film. That film could be in between the 25, 30, $50,000 range. I wouldn't go over 50,000 range, and you do it with considered to be known talent actors who really don't have name, but they can act. And they're not a part of the union. So with actors like that, they're not a part of the union. You could work with actors like that who and if they're willing to work. Some may say no, they don't want to take the chance. Some may say, yeah, let's make a movie. So in that situation, I go out and I would do a non-SAG project.
How would you do? Will you do castings in person? Would you do Zoom? How much protection and precaution will you take as you're pivoting and being creative with filmmaking?
Extreme caution, because the way like we just did, I just finished a zombie movie. In a zombie movie, I don't have the most actors I have at one time are like 4 actors, but most of the time it's like 2 actors at a time. And even with that, there's a scene, right? And with and it's a comedy. So there's a scene that the couple's supposed to kiss, but they don't kiss. They do like these fist bumps. You know what I'm saying?
This is a zombie comedy.
This is a zombie comedy.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, but extreme cautions. So make sure that everyone is safe. And protected while we're on set. And I wouldn't have no more than the 10 people. And we still, in most cases, there will be social distancing on set, because you have to have that, meaning that you have the wardrobe, you have the wardrobe, you have the
makeup,
and you have them in separate areas, and just keep them in separate areas, keep them at, we only have 2 locations, meaning that, we shoot on 2 locations, and, it's less likely that, the virus would be spread or anything like that.
It's almost like you would be like you're describing, you'll be shooting on a play set. Like when we go watch plays, that the scenes are all next to each other, so you're going to like set to set.
No. So we're actually, it's on location. What you refer to as a sound stage.
Okay.
Which is always in the studio. But what you so no, we will be shooting on an actual location. Mm-hmm. But we'll be shooting at an office, which is some of the movie takes place in the office building, and then the rest of the movie takes place in sort of like a warehouse. So if you're familiar with Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs movie, that most of the movie took place inside of a warehouse. So it would be a situation like that.
How are your SAG actors? Because you have some big names that appear in your films. What's the tone in Hollywood and the bigger names, celebrities, actors, actresses that you work with? What is the tone? What are they saying? How are they feeling? What's their morale?
I have no idea. I mean, only thing I know is I'm sure,
you haven't talked to any of them?
Via text. I mean, people who, there's some people who want to, who want to make, everyone wants to make sure that this virus is completely done with. I don't know how to, but everyone wants to make sure that they're safe, and precautions are taken once they hit the set. But at the same time, people need to work and make money. This is how they live, and unfortunately, when it comes to Black actors, like I think Gabriel Union just was saying that a lot of Black actors are 2 to 3 paychecks away from being broke, so,
Pause. What do they do right then and there? People like a Gabrielle Union, Gabrielle Dennis. Gabrielle Dennis, right?
No, Union. Yeah, Gabrielle Union, it was an article that was released.
Okay. So we're talking about the right actors. What would be your advice to them, the SAG actors and actresses who can only take SAG projects and are...
I would say, honestly, the advice I would give to them, if you need money, right, if you need money, you need to eat, and you need to provide for your family, I would work. I mean, I would have to work, because at the end of the day, you get if you're 2 to 3, 4 months behind on your rent, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how are you going to catch up? You need to, so it's, how you going to catch up?
Can SAG actors take non-SAG jobs?
They're not supposed to, but if I were, like, I'm just speaking from my experience, and I mean, if I were a SAG actor and I needed to make money, and a non-SAG job was, paying me what I normally would get paid, I would take the job.
Is it a penalty or is it a fine by the union?
I'm sure there would be, but again, it's a situation where these people have to eat.
Right.
They have to eat. You know what I'm saying? They have to provide for their family. Is SAG going to give them money to provide for their family? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, like in terms of what the union is doing for. I mean, I have no idea.
Have you talked to any of your SAG? I mean, you say you talk to them via text. What are they saying?
I mean,
how are they feeling? Are they scared? Are they nervous?
You have some who are. You have some like naturally, right? Naturally, if you're facing how I'm going to pay my, like, even if this COVID wasn't here, right? If you're facing how I'm going to pay my rent, or how I'm going to pay my condo, or how I'm going to eat for the next 5 to 6 months, if you're facing that type of dilemma, right? Naturally, there's going to be an extreme amount of stress, that's going to be placed on you mentally. You know what I'm saying? But so it depends. I mean, each individual actor, each individual SAG actors, they think differently. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how they look at the situation. Some of them may have reserves of money saved up where they can, they can afford to, take, the 6 months, the 8 months, or whatever.
So are you hearing a combination of both then, that some are like, they have reserves, some don't?
Yeah, of course.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So if it's still shut down, and could they do voiceovers? Isn't that still acting?
That is great. Yeah, I think some of them. Right, that is a great point. I think some of them, not some, but those who are used to doing, or who have done voiceovers, they're safe. They're pretty cool, because especially by doing the voiceovers, if that's how you're being eaten, you should be good. Unless, because one of the things, like, the Walmarts and the Targets and all of those big corporations who pay really hefty sums for voiceover artists, you should be good in this, because this is all you do anyway. You stay home and you do voiceovers. But to actors who are not, and then you have, and a lot of actors as well. Keep in mind, a lot of actors as well, they do get residuals. So I'm sure the SAG department, they're going very hard on, on back pay. I'm sure they're going very hard on make sure like the actors are getting their residuals, and getting their residuals on time so they can eat. I'm sure the SAG office is on top of that.
Question: could a SAG actor, or how does it work in the film industry? Can you file for unemployment?
I think you can. I'm not sure. You know what? You can, because I was somebody, an actor, post on their Facebook that they filed for unemployment, and then I saw some other actors who were saying, oh yeah, they filed as well, and it was, as a matter of fact, it was on Corey Hendrick's page.
Okay.
And some of the actors were like, they're filing for unemployment. They actually got unemployment.
Wow. I never would have thought. It just crossed my mind, but I never would have thought like actors and actresses are filing for unemployment. Will have to. Do you see the film industry coming out of this, or do you think they're going to need a bailout similar to other industries? Like, we in the news has been talking about that the airline industry is going to get bailed out. Do you think that, one, they're taking a hard hit, which we can obviously say they're taking some type of hit, but do you think they're going to the point there's going to need to be a bailout? Because I'm hearing, you're hearing so much. People had to close up shop and basically get rid of their business.
I don't think the film industry is going to need a bailout.
Yeah.
The film, I mean, in terms of the studio system, I don't think they are going to need. I mean, as independent filmmakers, you know what I'm saying? You can always throw some money our way,
right.
Donald Trump, if he's listening. He may be listening to this, he may be.
Absolutely. President Trump, you also need to bail out and give assistance to independent
filmmakers. Yeah. Yeah, but in terms of the studio, I don't think the studio is going to need a bailout, because.
Do you think that the new normal, as everyone's doing Zoom interviews and even now Skype is coming back, that some of the interviews and even castings are going to be taking place via school, via Zoom or even live, different Facebook lives or social Instagram lives.
Well, which is not going to be anything unusual because they were doing it anyway. A lot of actors do self-tape. A lot of actors do self. So this is nothing. There won't be nothing unusual for actors to do.
Do you think that your industry will go back to more of that now, sending in tapes, sending in links?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not about going back to it. It's about sticking to it. They would do more of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they were doing, actors all day long do self-tapes. I mean, all day long they're doing self-tape. You have some going for auditions. I mean, I'm sure plenty going in for auditions, but a lot of them do self-tape. So, so it's going to be more of that than anything.
Could you direct a film from Zoom? Could you direct a film or even a short scene from Facebook Live or Instagram Live?
Absolutely.
Are you going to try it because of this?
No.
You said no?
No.
Why not? I thought you was the internationally, globally known.
You said direct the scene,
direct the scene.
What you mean? What you mean in terms of I
read a lot of fashion magazines, and I was reading Harper's Bazaar, and I saw Gigi and Bella and their sisters, they're supermodels and their sisters.
The two. They were musicians or something?
No, they're sisters. They're models. They are supermodels. They're in their early 20s probably. And their most recent photo shoots was done it was directed via all online. They had some stuff that was set up for them, but they were capturing photos via FaceTime, via Zoom screenshots, and they literally was posing, and a lot of it made it into the majority of it because the fashion shoot was all remotely done. You had the model at her apartment or a location, and you had the photographers online, FaceTime, and using this type of technology like Zoom, directing the fashion shoot and snapping pictures. And had the model herself do a couple selfies.
That's a good idea.
I know. I just gave you some advice. I want to see the award-winning, internationally, globally known Mark Harris. Like that. You really. I mean, that's another way that your industry is. I mean, the industry, the film industry, or the fashion business is pivoting. So that would be an interesting take on how you direct the film. That will test your film directing skills. Go back, do it again.
That's a great idea. Maybe I'm gonna do that.
Because a lot of everyone is pivoting in this time. If you look at the late night shows, even the reality shows, they send them the equipment, and it's basic equipment, probably like what I have set up, my camera, my lights. And you're on the phone. The person who's in charge, the director, is on the phone, probably via FaceTime, directing remotely.
But who's filming?
The cameras that's already there, and you're capturing it. The equipment is already at the location where the actress or the model is located, and you're literally telling them to pose, and all done remotely. Right. And then also with the as I just mentioned, with the late night shows, they're recording it via Zoom. They're recording it via other apps that allow you to do these type of interviews. And the equipment is already there. The lights are already there. The person who's the interviewee or the subject has to set up all of the equipment, and you're directing it. It's almost like you have an easier job, kinda, because the person who is the interviewee or the host or the model has to set up all of the equipment.
That's great.
So you can hire me as a PA if you want. I just gave you some tips. But what else? I want to as we conclude this interview, I just want to check in and see how you were doing and how what's new in the film industry and how you all are pivoting. What other advice could you give either film directors, aspiring actresses and actors, or even current actresses and actors? What advice would you give during this time?
I mean, self-reflection, of course. We all have to take this moment, to self-reflect and to bring out of us the gifts and the talents that's put in us, that God gave us, and utilize them to the best of our ability, and know that after this is all done with, we just hang in there, because a lot of people are just giving up. A lot of people are giving up. We just keep, we Black people too. I know this, I said we Black people. Black people gonna be okay. This is like we understand the struggles of everything. Like, but no, but there's so much fear, right? There's so much fear
Right.
going on. There's so much stress, depression that's hitting everybody. Like I put a post up today. It's like you just walk down the street and there's so much fear, and I think what's more damaging to us than anything, even the COVID, is the fear that we have. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and people, we don't want to admit to the fact that we are afraid or there's so much fear, but, we just got to get over that fear. Just get over the fear.
What other tips would you give or takeaways during this time where everyone is at home reflecting? Should they be practicing? Could they practice? What do they practice? How do they keep or exercise their craft the same way an athlete would continue to exercise their muscle?
Mm-hmm. Just read a lot of screenplays, get with your family, your friends, and, the ones you can get with, and just do some scenes together, sharpen your skills, read a lot of, just definitely watch a lot of movies and study like the Meryl Streeps, the Viola Davis, the Angela Bassett's, study, the actors, every time you look at a movie, you have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have UMC, just go in there and study, study great actors, just study what we love.
Thank you, Mark Harris.
Thank you.
Final thoughts? Anything you want to say before we conclude?
It's always great to see you, Rashanah. Thank you very much, my Englewoodian sister.
Absolutely, my brother from another mother.
Yeah. So thank you very much. I truly appreciate this interview.
No problem. Stay safe, and I look forward to your new skill of remote directing.
Yes, that's a great idea.
All right, bye.
Okay.